CataractCoach.com, ASCRS case number 4, many variations of chop. So this is a pretty typical case where we're chopping it in the bag, vertical chop or a combo chop even, splitting into two halves. One half is brought up out of the caps or bag, and it can be emulsified pretty easily. So that's a quick chop, and that's what I call a combo chop, a combination of horizontal and vertical chopping. Now, learning how to chop is one of the most requested emails or notes that we get on Cataract Coach. So many surgeons really want to advance their techniques and move beyond divide and conquer or a bowling out technique and switch to a chop technique. And I'm happy to say, yes, you can learn it. It's not that hard. Let me show you another variation. This is a flip and chop. So nucleus is halfway out of the caps or bag, tilted up halfway in the iris plane, more viscoelastic going in there, phaco probe going in as well. There are many good videos on phaco chop on Cataract Coach. You got to leave YouTube. You're going to have to go to CataractCoach.com, the website, to learn how to split that nucleus with the chopper like I just did. And on CataractCoach.com, you'll be able to see all the lessons related to phaco chop. Slow motion videos, how to, what are the right settings. You're going to have to go to the website. So taking out that cataract, you can see it's a very efficient procedure. That lens has been removed from the eye very cleanly and very safely with a minimal amount of phaco energy. Now, for residents who are just starting off, I sometimes will chop the cataract for them. Using just a 27 gauge blunt cannula and a chopper, you can just trap that nucleus and go ahead and split it. Here's two halves. And now I can even split it up and create quadrants. And so completely separated two halves, the eye's just full of viscoelastic. And now the resident, who's a new resident beginning, can go inside, put the phaco probe, and aspirate the pieces. Now, rotary chop is from Christos Ephantides. Great idea. Let me tell you, you ought to try this if you're just learning. Clean up the cortex right there. And what he's doing now is going to create a subincisional little pit. Well, he calls it a pilot hole. But look, he's going to make a little pit in there. And just holding the nucleus, making a pit. And now, why is the pit made? Well, that's where you're going to place the chopper. So now rotate it 180. So you've already made it simple for you to place your chopper. You place the chopper in that pit you just made. After you embed the probe in the nucleus, chopper goes in the pit, bring the two together, and now apart. And you've just done it. You've cracked the perfect. So this is a technique, this rotary chop, as he calls it, that you can certainly learn. It's great for a resident, and at this point, each half can be further sub-chopped and goes pretty easily. So check out that video again on Cataract Coach's rotary chop. It's a nice technique for you to learn. There are more advanced techniques. Look at this. This guest surgeon uses two choppers, traps the nucleus, and wow, splits it right there into two halves. And again, splits it into quadrants. This is much harder than it looks. This is not for a novice. Don't even try it because it requires perfect balance. This is an easy one for a novice. That's the Akahoshi pre-chopper or similar variations of it. Just go inside there and split the nucleus. And now you can rotate it again and you'll easily get quadrants. And you can see this chopper is something simple to do. Finally, stop and chop. A good way to transition from divide and conquer to full chop is to start with stop and chop. Stop and chop means you make a groove, you crack the nucleus into two halves, then you stop. And then you chop each half, hence the name stop and chop, devised or described by Paul Koch from Warwick, Rhode Island many years ago. There's the groove, and you can see nucleus is being split into two halves. And once you've got two halves, now you can just bring each half up, buzz into a corner of the quadrant, bring it up, chopper goes around that equator, and you break off a little piece, and it can be just emulsified. So stop and chop is a very useful technique. Now for the grooving and the two halves, it's the same as your divide and conquer, same settings. So moderate amount of phaco energy, you need relatively low flow, you need relatively low vacuum. For the chop settings, you need to increase the flow a little bit and increase the vacuum a lot. So for a needle like this, which is that pink sleeve, probably a 2.2 incision, you're probably going to have that vacuum level at least 400, if not 500 millimeters of mercury or more. And that's the ability to hold the pieces like this, buzz in, hold it, bring it up, and you can emulsify it and then sub-chop it, and it works very well. So definitely, if you are a divide and conquer surgeon, hey, that works great. More power to you. Do it. It works best in your hands. But if you want to learn phaco chop or any variations of it, I encourage you to do so. It's really not that difficult, and I think it'll make your cataract surgery even more fun to do.